Hey guys, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we're the co-hosts of the Gourmet Goober podcast. Let me ask you something. Have you guys ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Yes.
I know when we were starting to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions, right? Like, how do we record an episode? How do we get our shows and all those apps that people like to listen to? And more importantly, how do we make money from the podcast, right? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're reading this ad, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love Anchor. Anchor has made it really simple to start the Gourmet Goober podcast. It's been a great thing to use, and Big Daddy's a big fan.
Yes, I am.
So if you wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, just go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me, Big Daddy, and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast. Everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
Hi, this is T Outlaw.
And we are back with a new episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. You can always find me, JJ Outlaw, on Twitter, actually, at JJ Outlaw. I'm on the gram, as the kiddies say, at Gourmet Goober. And every episode, I'm joined by my hubby, that dude, the Dark Desperate. Oh, wait a minute.
Pandemic ain't over.
Are you sure?
No. Keep that going.
People acting like it's over now with the CDC guidance saying that as vaccinated people, we don't have to wear a mask.
Is there a mask on my face?
Lollapalooza's back at full capacity.
That's their problem.
Your Dark Desperado dates are numbered, my friend.
Yes, they are numbered, but at the same time, it is still going on. So thus, I'm still carrying the name.
Okay. Well, until then, the Dark Desperado, T Outlaw, a.k.a. Big Daddy, how's it going?
It is going well. That's me, the Dark Desperado, T Outlaw, that dude. You can find me, T Outlaw, on Twitter, at T Outlaw, just like you. And you can find me on Instagram at T Outlaw, Josie Wells.
If you want to find us on Facebook, if you are so insistent on looking us up while you're connecting with your mama and them, you can go to the Gourmet Goober blog, because we started off as a blog back in 2013. Speaking of that blog, it still exists at thegourmetgoober.com. So you can check out everything from old recipes to media events like our time at, the pig festival that we went to?
Hog fight?
Yes, the hog fight. Exactly. My interviews, time on TV, all that crazy good stuff. As well as you can see podcast episodes as well. You can drop us a line anytime at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. And yeah, that's, rumor has it, I may be on the Clubhouse. And if so, I'll be able to pass on, maybe for those of you that are on Clubhouse, you can join me. We've had some cool things planned for that. Rumor has it we may also have a page on TikTok that may be unconfirmed.
Wait a minute, I missed that.
Hey, I just got a whole, look, I got our social media all wrapped up.
Hey, that's cool. At the same time, I'm afraid of, there'll be like TikTok videos of me like doing little fat kid dances.
It's mostly going to be our doggy producer, which, by the way, thank you, some of you who saw him on Twitter. This past week, it was National Rescue Dog Day. And so Brax the Destroyer, as Plum Good called him, we decided to showcase he's the world's greatest dog podcast producer, executive producer. He works for Belly Rubs and Pepperoni. He's really easygoing. You have this look on your face. You're kind of mad at him right
things,
now.
Yes. Goofball, meatball.
You're mad at him right now because we had a delivery, which we'll talk about later in the podcast. For the podcast, by the way. And he decided to just say hi to the DoorDash person. Yeah, not to mention the kid who mowed our lawn.
Yeah, the Destroyer over here wanted to, like, I don't know, wanted to go out TSA on folks and start investigating, like doing, like, full, pat downs.
It could be worse. Like earlier, we went on a doggy road trip so I can get some coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. First of all, let me just say, our dog has the people at the Dunkin' Donuts wrapped around his finger. He does. Because now they offer him pup cups without me even asking. They're like, oh, we love your little bully. Here's a pup cup. And of course, he puts his face right. He's supposed to be secured to the back. He ignores that. I guess that's like a suggestion at this point. At this point, the dog could drive the car because he's like right there in the front seat.
That would be scary.
And his head's like right next to mine, all drooly, like, yeah, I would like a pup cup. Oh, here you go. Can you at least put a top on it? And they look at me weird, like, you're not going to give him to him right now? No, because I want to go home and not have the entire car be filled with slobber and whipped cream.
No. That would be problematic.
The car detail people are going to love us.
Yeah. The people at Chevrolet also will love us.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Thank you for that reminder. I don't want them to look at the car and go, the hell happened?
They just look up, they'd be like, damn, what did you do to your car?
Bully. Yeah. American bully. 70 pounds of pure puppy.
It's like, who destroyed your car? Dog.
Yeah. Not to be confused with, like, the last episode. What happened, Gator? Bobcat.
We got
some responses to that, by the way.
Really?
Apparently people are a little dismayed that our marriage would be over if there was some bobcat.
That's their problem. That's our marriage.
Between that and you outing me for the true reason I went vegetarian in college.
Oh, because you were broke.
Well, yes, I was very broke.
Hey, you've said that before. I'm like, that's on you. Just don't lie about it. Say, oh, yeah, I went vegetarian. I went like, I decided to go Epicurious.
There were some honorable reasons why I did it back then. But yeah, mainly it's because meat was hella expensive, okay?
Yeah, I'm like...
I made not a lot as an intern for Mississippi Power, let me say.
It's okay.
And of course I bought a car, because of course I did. So anyway, this is the segment that we normally talk about our week before moving into our topics for the show. So Big Daddy, how was your week since the last episode?
I didn't do a damn thing.
That's not true.
I just sat here and just scratched myself the entire 2 weeks.
Ladies and gentlemen who's listening, and everyone in between, that is not true. You got a lot done.
No, I really didn't. I mean, yes, I worked remotely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got work done, for work. I did some stuff around the house, yeah, but mainly I just chilled out, but no. Okay, so for this story to work, I have to tell truth. Truth to power. In the last 2 weeks, the Goober and I celebrated our 16th, that's right, 1/6 wedding anniversary.
Woo!
We're in the Sweet 16 now.
Yes.
We're big. But no, so we have, here's the quick background to our story. We met in 1993 on a date.
It was not a date. It was a foodie call. I think we established that.
A foodie call.
My roommate was on the date with your roommate. We were not on a date. I was in it for the free ice cream.
We were each other's wing person.
I was in it for the free ice cream.
She was in it for the free ice cream. I was in it because allegedly I was macking on her roommate.
Well, that's what she thought.
Yeah. That's what she thought.
We're not going to... Okay, you know what? I could say what she told me, which in hindsight is hella problematic for a lot of reasons. I'm just going to say, Stephanie, if you're listening, thank you for bringing us together.
Thank you.
Yes.
Because I am the smartest black man she ever came across that day.
That day.
Yes. Anyway.
If you knew her, you would understand why we said that.
Okay. So, once again, we've known each other since 1993.
Yes.
We kind of became a couple for real in 1999.
Which is funny because all of our friends, we were together for so long, everyone thought we were a couple and were surprised that we weren't dating. I couldn't date him technically because I was his RA.
You couldn't date me because I wouldn't let you.
Well, I wasn't interested in dating you. In fact, the person I did date, turns out you hated him.
There's no I hated. There is I hate. Do not like, have disdain for. Yeah, just wasn't feeling his, I had issue with his premise or his presence.
But I broke up with him when I realized I was in love with you.
Because that was the best thing you ever had.
We did try to date when we were in college. It did not work out.
Because I was a Bulls fan.
And I was a Pacers fan. So we went our separate ways. I moved on to grad school. I wound up dating someone else. And that's when he decided that he really loved me.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So we've been together since 99.
That's right. All I want to do is win, no matter what. So, yes, since 99, everything's been going up.
Yes.
And it stayed up. But, yeah, we got married in 2005. And so, to speed this along to get to our 16th, I went off the board. I know that there's supposed to be some kind of decorum with anniversary gifts, but I decided at first I was going to buy I don't know why I decided cooking utensils, but we just randomly saw something like on the TV show The Talk, and like Morning Save had I believe it was called like a Staub like baking dish, I want to say.
Right, it was a Staub roasting pan.
Yeah, Staub roasting pan.
And I know you guys are listening at home like, oh my God, he got you something to cook with for your anniversary. Let me explain. For those who know me really well, know that one, I'm obsessed with cooking. I love cooking. And two, I love spending money on really good cookware. And so there's two cookware brands out of France. One is Le Creuset, which I have talked about before, Le Creuset.
Le Creuset.
And my obsessive love of Le Creuset. But the other one is Staub, which is this incredible cooking brand. They're known for their enamel products. They're really well made. So I have mentioned to Big Daddy before that I always wanted to have a piece of Staub cookingware.
Can never remember this, but yeah, I just happened. She was like, one day she saw this Staub like on the Talk, and she's like, "Oh, I really like Staub." Like, I'm like, okay. So there came this idea, pop. I shall get it for her. And so I'm like, okay, I will order it. But what happened?
Unbeknown to Big Daddy, because again, it's a gift, and I didn't know he was going to order the Staub. I too saw the same episode of The Talk. And I thought, oh my God, this is my chance to finally own a piece of Staub cookware. So they come in 3 different sizes, right? They have a small size roasting pan, they have a medium sized roasting pan, and a large roasting pan. And I wanted to go all out and get the large one, but I was like, I didn't exactly tell Big Daddy I was going to buy this. It's in the budget and we can afford it, but still it's a little pricey. I'll just go ahead and get the medium one. He'll be fine with that. So unbeknownst to him, I order the same pan in a smaller size. So here comes the morning save box. And I'm so excited. I'm dancing in the living room. I meet the person who delivered it. I hug the box. Meanwhile, he's like, what the hell are you doing hugging the box? And I'm like, well, then I have to come clean. Well, in the box, I bought a stop cooking pan. I saw it on the talk and I've always wanted one and it looks perfect and I can make all these great roasts and I already have planned out what I'm going to make in it. You know, I was going to make a chicken cassoulet and then you have this weird look and I'm like opening up and hugging and caressing the box. And that's when you had to come clean. And I was like, dude, what's the big deal? I mean, I realized I didn't tell you first, but I thought you'd be cool with it.
Yes.
And that's when you confessed.
That somehow, some way that, yes, with the morning save box, which I thought was the one that I delivered, or that I had delivered, was the one that she had. Hers came first. Let's just start with that.
Yes.
And so I, at that moment, had to come clean with, so you got this nice medium roast pan. I got you the large roasting pan. Same color, same place that it originated from, same maker.
That's hilarious. You got the exact same color. Because they have different colors.
I just took what they gave me. But yes, so the goober now has two
stop pans.
Exactly.
Which I am more than delighted about. I've already planned out what I'm making it for. I'm so excited. But yeah, that was really thoughtful, but also really kind of funny.
Yes, it was.
So then you were worried that the gift that you got me would not arrive in time.
Yeah, I was concerned about like Morning Save and like their shipping time. And it's still the pandemic, y'all. So I was concerned. So I had to kind of carry a backup gift. And we've done jewelry before and we've done random things of clothes. So I've always been nervous about what to get the goober that she would like. So I decided to go a little weird. And we know that the goober is a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and like Marvel products. So, okay, so I randomly just got a t-shirt.
Actually, he got 2 t-shirts. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw one. And one of the t-shirts, it's so awesome. It's from a phrase that's very famous now from the television show The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where basically Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, breaks down the 3 main villains that most Avengers or most people in the cinematic universe find themselves fighting. It either comes down to aliens, androids, or wizards.
Correct.
And so it's on the shirt. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the best ever. The other t-shirt, which I didn't take a picture in just yet, but I did get a picture. I just haven't posted on the gram yet. Is a picture of Sam as the new Captain America. And keep in mind, when the Captain America and Winter Soldier episode ended, Entertainment Weekly said, okay, now that you've seen the show, here's where you get the merch. And because I'm a nerd, I'm like, I want merch. So I went to the links they gave, and the t-shirts that he ordered was on back order. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go back and, oh, excuse me. I'll go back in August and see if I can get some. No, Big Daddy already had the t-shirts. Like a Mac.
No, I just got lucky. But yeah, so I was able to secure 2 t-shirts. Originally, I was going to get her like the Captain America like sweatshirt uniform-ish look. But one of the things about the new Captain America uniform is that, like, you know, the top half has a lot of white. And the goober's not the best at, like, white before Labor Day or after Labor Day.
Ever.
Yeah.
I have the world's slobbiest dog. I mean, I can look at him and he could get something on the shirt.
Sure.
So, yeah, that probably wouldn't have worked well.
Yeah,
no,
so
it worked out perfect what you got.
I did. I looked into certain things, but yeah, that's what I ended up like getting the goober for our anniversary. Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna win any like romantic awards,
No,
but
no, 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 no. The goober was very happy with her gift.
yeah,
So your gift actually was hilarious because, well, I ordered you something, and right before it was to be delivered, I got an email from the company that said it was going to be canceled. And I'm just like, oh my God, I have to come up with something. And keep in mind, should I say what the gift was?
well, the original gift was a watch, correct?
Right. Big Daddy, let me just back up. So my father loves Big Daddy like his own son. And my father has taken to commemorating special things with giving you a watch.
Yes.
And my dad is like a big time collector of like expensive watches like Invicta and all of that stuff that I know nothing about, but the watch is like so technical you need a winder, digital winder to help it keep time. That's the kind of stuff my dad gives. So I too wanted to get something special, and I tried to go along with what um the traditional, I guess it's like silver for like 16th year or something type with peridot. And so I saw this like gorgeous Bulliver watch that kind of met both the design elements of what is your traditional gift. And I thought, you know what? That is his gift. To commemorate all the time that we spent together. Um, and it'll be perfect for his collection, and he'll look really suave when he wears it. And sadly, it was canceled. So I had to come up with something else. First, I had to deliver the bad news, and this is after this double stop incident because they both arrived before our anniversary. So I was like, oh crap, I can't not give him something. I mean, dude, I have this beautiful piece of art that I get to cook with, the stop cookware. So then I came up with an idea that, in my opinion, he would either think it's hilarious and next level genius or question my sanity. Or maybe a bit of both.
Bit of both.
So you may have heard you may recall for regular listeners a conversation we had about a certain strip club. Yes, I said strip club in Atlanta that has a particular lure to basketball players in general, known for their cuisine. So I ordered from them.
And the special line that comes from in that NBA player.
Yes. So I got him a gift, believe it or not, from Magic City.
That's right. Magic City.
The notorious strip club. That was our anniversary present. I went on Gold Belly. And what happened was, okay, I have this like love-hate relationship with Gold Belly because they know me. They like send emails like, you haven't ordered in a while. I know the last time that you were on this website, you were looking at this cake that Oprah really liked. You have room in your freezer for the cake. You know you want it. Come on. Why don't we give you a discount? And I get all excited about the discount, and then I go and try to order something, and the discount can only be used for certain things. But I'm already ensnared and invested in whatever I have in the cart. So I usually break down and get it. That's usually what happens with me.
And does not share.
I do share. I share all the time. That last thing I ordered that was from, what was it, Johnny's Sanchez? I shared with you.
And what was that?
It was the tacos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so this time around I got ensnared, and then I saw the little thing from Magic City, and I'm like, you know what? This would be the one thing you would never guess. So I told you that I got you something that would make you live like a baller for a day.
Now I'm sitting here thinking it was like, from the big baller brand. Like I was like, did she give me a t-shirt? Did she give me some Yeezys?
No,
Just
I
give me
did
some
not give
Big
you
Baller
some
brand
names.
sneakers. This would have been really crazy
I don't think
and
Big
really
Baller
stupid.
even exists anymore. Didn't it go out of business?
I don't know.
Big Baller is the brand that LaMelo Ball and
Lonzo Ball,
LeVar Ball, all the balls they created.
yeah,
I think they're out of business now. When he tried to make his own shoe.
it was worth a try. But yeah, that would have been crazy. Like crazy, not great, but yeah, she decided to go off the board and she had something delivered via Gold Belly from Magic City in the ATL. Now, I was waiting for I was like, did she? I'm gonna open that box. Did she send me some stripper heels?
That would have been good.
Was I gonna get a brass pole?
You should have seen the look on his face. He's like, "You ordered me stuff from a strip club for our anniversary.
Yeah, the people of
Are
Facebook.
you trying to tell me something?"
The people of Facebook were like, you know your wife ordered something from a strip club, right?
But let me say, you liked it. You loved it. You shared it online.
And it was the best thing I ate this week, which I will detail later.
Yes. So see, there was a method to my madness.
There was a method. There was a madness. And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And plus, I got Mac points. I have to say, our friend Luis said goals when you shared it online. Because not too many wives would order stuff for a strip club for their husband.
So I knew that I had gone too far. This is something that I had not shared with the Gourmet Goober. When there was something that my boss, of all people,
oh my God,
mentioned a couple days ago, because there was something I was supposed to return. I have signed and returned to him. And he was like, oh, yeah, can you get this sent today or can you have this dropped off and whatever? And how many wings do you have left? And I'm sitting here like,
oh my God, your boss saw it?
Yeah, and I'm sitting here like, okay, this is definitely a reason for me to get my ass off of Facebook right now.
See, that's why I'm not on it.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. But is your boss impressed that I did it?
He seemed to be.
See? I'm the world's best wife, y'all.
you are definitely the world's best wife. The guys were definitely impressed. I'm not sure about the ladies, but yeah, the guys were definitely, they have a little cheering section.
Look, that's because the lady didn't have a chance to sample what we had.
True. And like I said, we will detail that later.
Stripper or no stripper, that stuff was good. That was worth it.
Even though they should have delivered it, in a box with a glass heel or something.
Oh, that would have been funny.
That would have been funny, but yeah, there have been. I wonder what the price would have been if they would have stuck that in.
You know what? We should tag them during this podcast to let them know we talked about them. I just wonder what they have to say. You know what? Afterwards, I would love to talk to the person who came up with that. Although my compliments to the gentleman that we'll talk about later, I have to say what he came up with is insane, but next level good. I think he should stop playing in basketball and go into this.
Well, he's in ATL now, so thus, he has time.
He has lots of time.
Well, I guess no, I take it back. He's actually in the playoffs right now, but yeah. I mean, now that he's in ATL inspecting his product, well, we'll see.
They should give him a cut of the profits because when we describe what is the best thing we ate this week, y'all be impressed.
Yeah. So anyway, Goober, how was your week?
Well, outside of treating my husband to something from a strip club for our anniversary, no, actually, I had a really good week. I had my first review, if you could call it that, because it wasn't quite a year, but it was time for the inner review. Great conversation with my boss. I'm always very careful to never share the name of the organization that my day job is connected with and things like that. But that said, it is refreshing to work for an organization that appreciates your work and appreciates you as an employee.
So you don't work for McDonald's, right?
No, I do not work for McDonald's, but I have to say, it was a really great conversation, and it's nice to be able to say that you're seen and you're respected. And unfortunately, I've been in some work situations, one quite recently before taking on this new position, that I did not feel the same. So if you learn nothing else from my week, being if you were, let me just put it this way, if you are in a position where you could either a demand more respect on your job, or you have the flexibility to move on to a job if you feel that you're not respected, if your work is not valued, if your voice is not heard, if you have the liberty to do so, which it just sort of fell in my lap, the situation that I'm in now, take it. I know that for many women, for many creators of color, especially those in creative industries, it's really hard to deal with imposter syndrome. And I know that's something that I struggle with all the time, the feeling that you've advanced to a certain place. And I think we're sometimes gaslit as people of color, like you're only here because of XYZ, instead of
because you're valued.
Is because you're good at your job. And to hear someone literally tell you that, it was just like, yeah, I'm that bitch. I don't think that all the time.
Yeah, that's exactly what that's exactly have a sign put up, because I'm
that bitch.
Yeah. Thank you, Liz.
You know, the other thing is the newsletter project, which I've been working on way too long. It's almost finished. So it's a nice feeling to almost be done with something that brought together so many different departments and so many rewrites and things like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm at a point where I can take some time off. And what's really cool is the organization that I work with now, they recently changed it so you can have unlimited time off. And I've always been like, oh my gosh, to work with an organization that has that flexibility. And now I do. And now I'm like, okay, is it okay to ask for the time off? And to be reassured by your boss, like, yeah, we put it there because we want you to use it. And I think that all ties to the imposter syndrome that sometimes is beaten in to so many of us. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm making plans for things to do. But yeah, it was a good week. And I'm glad that Big Daddy enjoyed his gift.
I did. Let me also say, unscripted, this is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Oh, yeah.
And always, if there's nothing else that you take from this podcast, whether it be food or pop culture, one of the things I and the Goober and other professionals would like to advocate it is do something every day to take care of yourself.
Right.
Not just physically, but spiritually and mentally.
And you know what? I'm really glad you say that, because I think working through this pandemic, if you're blessed to be in a situation that you work from home, but even if you don't, we all have situations where there's people that we care for, things that we're responsible for, deadlines and other things that we have to meet. And it's just hard to take a moment to really evaluate where you are physically or everything like that. Actually, one of the other things I did this past week is I went to see my cardiologist, which I haven't seen in a long time. And definitely since the health scare that I had, I think I shared it in an early episode of the podcast, to be given a good bill of health, like, it's really important for you to do that because your mental health affects so many aspects of your life. And in so many communities, dealing with positive mental health is not always talked about, but it should. And I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because there's been such a focus on it this week with, that new interview that Prince Harry did with Oprah Winfrey. But just in general, even if you take that out of the equation, making sure that you take care of you because you're important and you deserve to have the right to having a positive mental health along with other parts of your well-being. So thank you for sharing that.
I like it during that. The only thing I could think of was, does Harry still have the moniker Prince in front of his name?
I'm not really sure because I think he's referred to as the Duke of Sussex.
Did they take that away also?
I know they want to because they big mad that he's telling all his truth. But you know what? I admire him for it, and I haven't seen the interview yet. It's on Apple Plus, and I think we might have to do the free trial in order to watch it. But the thing that I like about it is that he's an example of coming from a background, a culture where speaking about your mental well-being is not encouraged. And from the segments of the conversation, he had a really great brief interview with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America. You guys can look up, where he openly talked about that. And just imagine like losing a loved one in public, like he did with his mother when he was only 12, and then not being able to grieve properly to get the support you need to just kind of work it out yourself. And as someone who, without going into a lot of detail, understanding how experiencing trauma early in life can really color your perception of yourself and others. The fact that at this stage in Harry's life that he figured out that he needs to value taking care of himself, for Meghan, self-esteem, for their kids. You know, there are a lot of people I've read in England who royal aides are like, take away their titles because he dared tell the truth. But you know what? It's his story to tell.
It is.
And if it helps other people in the process, then, you know, all the better for it. So I hope they don't take away his title. But, you know, we got Harry and Meghan, so we could just give him another title. You know, what would be a title we'd give him the hood from the south side of Chicago? Like the Grand Poobah of Sussex. Is there a lady form of Grand Poobah, by the way? I've always wondered that in like the Flintstones. Like, what would be? Is it Poobah Bess?
Poobess.
Poobess.
No,
that sounds really bad.
Yeah, that does sound kind of janky. I don't know. Like, I know there's a lioness or a tigress. I don't know. I don't know. There's a Harold's Chicken and Waffles. Or a Harold's Chicken. I'm like, can we just? I don't know what we call Harry. We would just call him like, you know, Big Red.
He probably already has a nickname, you know.
Call him that dude. You gotta give him something.
But look, he can be that dude. That's you.
That's true. I'm willing to, you know, give that up, you know, to Harry.
Serve that dude.
Wants. But you know, I have conditions.
In honor of Stevie Wonder, Sir Duke.
Sir Duke, okay.
Instead of just Duke, he's Sir Duke.
So Sir Duke.
Yes.
What I am proposing, if I am giving away that dude, or you know, if you want to take on Sir Duke, come sit down with me and Stevie Wonder. Let's have some fish and chips and I don't know, some wings. I'm willing to propose that. Like, you know, let's come have a sit down. Let's see how, you know, how much flavor you really have.
Would we take him to Magic City with the wings?
Are you letting me go to Magic City with Harry and Stevie Wonder?
Let me think about that.
Put it out there.
You know, I ordered it so you could just have it delivered.
But the whole deal is like I would like to sit down with these gentlemen and let's have a, you know, a scrum, a chit chat. Let's see how much, you know, Harry has to say.
So, Sir Duke, if you're listening, drop us a line at thegourmetcooper@gmail.com if you're interested. We may have to negotiate the Magic City, but I can say that Harold's Chicken in the south side of Chicago, top notch. You'd enjoy it.
True.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with 3 stories that covers the intersection of food and pop culture. And you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Emily.
And we're the hosts of A Dark Cup of History, a spin-off series to our regular podcast, A Nice Cup of History, where we dive headfirst into the weird and paranormal aspects of the world we all live in.
If you want to know your woman in red from your woman in white, or precautions to take against demonic dolls, and just where to go to find Black Shuck on a moonlit night, why not give us a listen?
Together we talk about the dark, creepy, and downright terrifying parts of our history and folklore, as well as what you should do if you ever encounter any of them.
Interested? Come and find us on Buzzsprout, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere else you'll get your podcasts.
So turn on the lights, grab a blanket and some rock salt,
and let's get dark.
Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we are back with the second segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast that we affectionately call What's Eating Us. That's when we focus on 3 stories that covers the intersection of food and pop culture. Sometimes they'll make you laugh, sometimes they'll make you think, but all of them would fit in that divide. Does our executive producer, doggy producer, have something to say?
Apparently he has an opinion. I don't know what that opinion is, but...
Are we not giving you enough pepperoni? Are you trying to renegotiate your salary now? I think he is.
Okay. Grumble, grumble.
Maybe he didn't approve. Look, we gave you approval of the stories, okay?
Maybe you just didn't like his treats.
Okay, we're going to take a quick second just to double check and make sure he's cool. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, so it's probably only a matter of seconds on the podcast, but it actually took us about 5 minutes to get him calmed down. I guess there was someone outside, but he really took issue with their premise.
He was like, I wasn't feeling it. I don't like you.
That's the weird thing about having bullies. They are just like crazy, like protective of like the oddest stuff. Like normally if someone comes and delivers a package, they're just like, okay, there's someone outside. I get it. But like the kid who mowed her lawn today, sweetest kid ever. He's like 14. And the dog is like, dude, you see that? He's talking to her. Are you looking at that? Do you want me to come regularly? I'm like, Braxton, what are you going to do? You're going to lick him to death. He's seriously the friendliest dog in the world. You scare no one, Braxton. That's the funny part. He's like the little dog who thinks he's like all impressive, but then he's like a big doof. What did we say if like our previous dog, Bear Boo, was the doggy Tom Hanks? I think our dog now is the Gronkowski of dogs.
I don't know how to feel about that.
He's just a meatball.
Gronk is many things, but Gronk will, well, in the wrong place will mess you up.
And so will Braxton to like a squeaky toy that has way too many fluffies. He'll do that too.
No, let's not overthink this. Yeah, he is still a dog.
Well, yes, of course he's still a dog, but what I'm trying to tell you is he has a scary bark, but I've not a person yet who's afraid of him.
Yeah, but let it also be known that he is also a dog and a security dog, and we're not going to tell the public that he is not.
Oh, for the sake of the public, yes, he is a big, mean, vicious security dog.
He is the reason we have a beware of dog sign. Because he will get out. He will find you.
Our 2 cats whip his ass on the regular.
He has a certain set of skills.
So, let's go to the 3 stories.
Yes. since we've taken this off track from the beginning of this segment,
which was not our fault,
which was not of our own doing, but let me step off the track for a hot minute and also say we like to give our in memoriam this week to comedian Paul Mooney.
Oh my gosh, yes. I still can't believe he's gone. He is one of the late greats. He was peers with Richard Pryor. He was close with Dave Chappelle. If you go online right now, you can see the best of Paul Mooney on the Dave Chappelle show. There's so many epic skits and things that Paul Mooney had a hand in writing for Richard Pryor. In fact, you know, the weird thing is, before he passed, I watched one of them online. You can catch it. It's Richard Pryor once famously hosted Saturday Night Live. And there is a skit that is called it's a job interview skit. And it's between him and he's being interviewed by Chevy Chase.
Right.
And it's a word comparison skit. And it starts off innocently enough. And then they go in uncomfortably, but hilariously, into slurs. And Richard Pryor's response to Chevy Chase saying one particular slur, it's both uncomfortable but still really hilarious. And Paul Mooney wrote that. And I read this great article about the behind the scenes of Richard Pryor really kind of changing the late night landscape forever with his appearance on the show. And how Lorne Michaels, who is famously the showrunner and producer of Saturday Night Live, actually quit on the spot if he couldn't get Richard Pryor being approved by NBC to be the host of the show.
Okay.
But Richard said he would not do it without Paul Mooney. And so think about at this day and time when there's very few shows with Black writers at the forefront of any writing room. Richard Pryor brought his own writer into the skit comedy show that he hosted for the week.
Correct.
And it just shows you how much faith he had in Paul Mooney and his writing and his ability to make really edgy yet important comedy. And he's someone that I know that a lot of people may not be keyed in on. It's one of those things that I became familiar with Paul Mooney through some of the late night tapes that we've talked about in previous shows. And it's just something that's just talked about with our elders, so to speak.
Correct.
Because he never really crossed over into mainstream.
Never could.
Yeah. He's one of those comedians that back in the day would seem too dangerous to put on camera.
He was too dangerous to put on camera, even when you put him on camera.
Yes. But he was equally, he spoke the truth. I think that's one of the reasons why they thought him as being too dangerous. But nevertheless, he was brilliant when Richard Pryor did his short run on CBS, The Richard Pryor Show. Again, Paul Mooney was instrumental being on there. And then I've read stories like Marsha Warfield. She got her start actually through encouragement through Paul Mooney. Cheryl Underwood, exactly. So if you have an appreciation for comedy, not just Black comedy, but comedy period, you owe it to yourself if you're not familiar with his incredible contributions to the craft, just to kind of catch up on some of the things he's done. But yeah, he was definitely, he was a real one. So he'll definitely be best. Thank you for thinking about that. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, on to the topics.
So the first topic actually is something that if you live in the Midwest, you probably, or not just in the Midwest, because I think now 15 states will be affected by it. And that is the coming of what is known as the Brood X cicadas. So cicadas, if you know, those are those creatures, they're insects that are in hibernation. There's multiple types most people are familiar with. I think there's one type that sleeps for 13 years before coming out of the ground and get their groove on mating, and then they go about to what they're doing. This one actually is a particular brand breed
Brand.
of cicadas that hibernate within 17 years, and now we're expected to be totally inundated. By some estimates I've seen that they've been expected for close to 1 billion will be emerging throughout the United States. I believe it's like 16 or 17 states. I
Good
want to say.
Lord.
Yeah. And it's already happening. So back home from where I'm from in Indianapolis, they started coming out late last week. And they're very loud. There's literally thousands of them. And they will be everywhere trying to get their mate on. So obviously, people, whenever this happens, are looking to figure out ways that they could coexist with this mating season, which normally happens for about 4 to 6 weeks, right?
As far as we know.
So, for several restaurants in the Washington, D.C. area, they decided to handle the ongoing onslaught of the brood X cicadas in a different way by making food out of them.
Okay, we need to stop this now. Let's stop this foolishness right now. Nope. I mean, like, in the story, like, just either let them, get their little, freak on and move on, go back to sleep, or fall off. Just, I want nothing to do with the, the food consumption of this.
Now, okay, all right. We had talked off mic, and maybe we could have this conversation now. First of all, it's not uncommon to eat insects. In fact, I've eaten crickets before, chocolate covered crickets. They're actually really good. I've eaten all sorts of odd things, and to be fair, if you're a fan of barbecuing,
I am.
So odds are, at one point, an insect had landed, and the food that you prepared outside, you probably ate it all the time and didn't know.
No, I never intentionally went outside and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna start like barbecuing crickets," or like, "Oh, look, there's some ants. Let's just go ahead and fry them bad boys up."
But they are also very common in different cultures as well, eating them as a source of protein.
That's on them.
So clearly, Big Daddy's not down with that.
I know that there's such a thing as a mistake that occurs, like, in nature, you get too close to the, to the grill. It's, you just happen to, as you said, fall asleep and, a random fly hops in your throat.
Well, there are many restaurants that take to differ this thought. And so for the
I'm not frequenting them.
Most part, cooks are really excited, and they're taking it almost like an Iron Chef style bug challenge. So cicada has landed. One of the menus is a place in DC that's called Leesburg Restaurant, Cochina on the Market, and they have started scooping up cicadas and serving "quote unquote" locally sourced cicada tacos. Now, this is actually not. This is something he's also cooked before. He was using grasshoppers for traditional Mexican tacos as well. So, for many people, they like the idea of eating cicadas because, one, it's a high protein. It's a sustainable ingredient, because usually what happens with them is when they emerge off the ground, there's so many of them because they do that intentionally as a way to kind of help ensure their survival. Because animals right off the bat, like, we know Braxton's probably going to have a field day whenever they come out where we live. They haven't yet, but we're expecting within the next week.
Bird dog is not bright.
Okay, 1 minute, yes, we did call him the Gronkowski of dogs, but he's not alone. And many people say that the cicadas actually taste like shrimp. So much so that they're advising people that if you have a shellfish allergy, to avoid trying the tree. And they say that the flavor profile of cicadas almost has an umami type style. And so this particular chef, his name is Tobias Padano. Right now, he and his team, his from the restaurant, they're actively scavenging trees, bushes, outside of houses, looking for anything related to the cicada that they can actually use. And the way they cook it doesn't sound too scary. So they sauteed the bugs with onions, garlic, serrano chili, and lime, and then put them in a tortilla with green mole. And from the look on your face, you are not trying it at all.
Oh, you want me to speak on this? I love how people are trying to make a habit out of a mistake.
So you're equating this to the bug accidentally landing on your barbecue.
Yes. Something
Dude,
happens.
You probably sleep and a bug. You probably eaten a bug when you're sleeping. How many times have we eaten outside and there've been you probably like at a picnic we've had in the past? Maybe an ant got into something. Odds are you probably have consumed lots of bugs in your life.
I'm sure, maybe, possibly in life there are. Just a quick and short of this. Once again, mistakes. Things occur in nature where you consume things that you didn't exactly plan to eat them, but you still are alive. That's good. But I didn't really plan for it to occur. I didn't plan for it to happen. It's a mistake. And the fact that people are making this a habit or have a sport. I mean, yeah, I didn't wake up saying, yeah, I wanted to eat shrimp, but eventually people ate shrimp. Well, I'm sure people weren't planning on eating meat from the start, but damn it, we were hungry.
Right. There has had to be that one person who said, you know what? That shrimp looks pretty good. And considering that in some parts of the country, shrimp is known as mud bugs. Shrimp and other crustacean like crawfish are known as mud bugs. So they're not exactly too far off. In fact, a lot of people refer to cicada as land shrimp because the similarity is so close.
Once again, trying to make a habit out of a mistake. Yeah, you can mistake yourself into things, but I won't actively. If you go out and you're actively trying to scoop up little cicadas off the ground to make them into treats, I'm just going to have to call you out from the get go. This just won't work. I'm sorry. If things occur naturally in nature and you just eat them, it happened. Yeah, you got lucky and maybe it tastes good, but I'm not actively going out looking for them. And as a matter of fact, just to make this simple and easy, remember how last year we were trying to avoid murder hornets or murder crickets or whatever the hell it was?
It was murder hornets. You made up murder crickets.
Okay, I made up murder crickets, but damn it sounded funny.
It did.
So this year, now we got to avoid cicadas. Next year, what? We got I don't know. We got drunk bees or I don't know. Are we going to have I don't know, fire ants that have propellers on their backs that could kill us? I don't know. Every year we gotta avoid some kind of random ass ant or something. So why don't we just go ahead and leave them alone, let them do their thing, and move on?
Next year it'll be remember the Transformers? They had the Insecticons.
Yeah. Next year it'll be robotic insects.
They will literally come out with Insecticons. That will be the latest thing we have to avoid.
Yeah, they'll be oh, this is what happened with COVID. COVID was caused by X. I'm no, let's just leave it alone. Let's not bring any more doldrum to our lives. We're already trying to get out of a pandemic. I don't need to add, more craziness to this already special life.
Well, people, if you are looking to try them, and okay, would I try them? In case you're wondering, I have eaten really strange things before, and like crickets. I've eaten ants before.
Frog legs?
Actually, I refuse to eat frog legs, but there's a reason why. I've
Why?
told you. Do I have to really say it? It's kind of embarrassing.
Consistency? Taste?
No.
Texture?
No.
They just don't smell good?
You're forced to be okay. All right.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
You know what? Fine. Okay. Have you guys ever seen the Muppet movie? The Muppet movie is one of my favorite movies as a kid. If you've never seen it, first of all, get your life, watch it. But part of the Muppet movie is Kermit's going to Hollywood, and he meets all these crazy characters around the way. And he runs into this dude who catches him singing the Rainbow Connection, and he wants him to be his spokesperson for his restaurant. And what does his restaurant serve? Frog legs. And I was a kid, and I saw that, and I was horrified that someone would eat frog legs. Of course, my parents pointed out helpfully that I will eat the hell out of chicken legs and think nothing of them.
Yes.
But chickens don't sing like Kermit. So I told them that I would never try a frog leg. And to this day, 40 years and counting, I have never touched a frog leg. I have tried. I was in the store the other day, running an errand because I needed something for our printer. And I went into the supermarket part of the store, and they actually had frog legs in the freezer. I thought about it for 5 seconds. I saw that scene where the robotic frog legs were outside this restaurant and horrifying Kermit, and I just couldn't do it. So no, I've never had frog legs. But I'm not ashamed to say I've eaten a lot of other stuff like gator and all the other stuff. That said, if it was prepared where I didn't have to see the cicada, yeah, I would probably try it. But I'm also horrifyingly scared. When I was a child, cicadas used to terrify me.
Okay.
To the point where I ran into a tree running away from one.
See, I wasn't going to bring that up. I was going to leave that alone, but no, you brought that to the party.
No, I saw one on the tree, and you know how they molt their shells? And they're so scary looking. And I screamed, and I ran from one, and I ran smack dab into another tree. So if I don't have to see said cicada, be prepared. Like, I probably wouldn't forage for them, but it's probably the same way that even though I will willingly eat a lobster, I don't think I would feel comfortable throwing it in the water.
Okay.
So as long as I don't have to see said cicada, yeah, I would try it once it's done in a taco. I just don't want to go grab it.
No.
That's not any different than I will eat a lamb as long as I don't know its name.
You could tell me his name. I'm still eating that bastard.
You think that until it actually happens to you.
Hey,
I told you about the Boudreaux story. That was horrifying.
You did, but at the same time, I learned how on the farm how to snap the neck of a chicken. I still ate them. But okay, I will give you this. I will grant you this. Like, as you were talking,
okay,
I did have the concept, and this kind of goes back to the way that the goober sometimes like has to work cuisine past me.
Right.
If you were, and this is almost like how we have to feed Braxton. If you were to take some cicadas
and hide it in something,
wrap that bad boy in bacon, put it in with some peanut butter, but don't tell me what it is. Cook it up real good, fry it up, I don't know, slather in, some on top of it. Don't tell me what it is. And maybe I'll try it. And if I can get down my throat and not choke, hey, I ate cicadas. There you go. But if I knowingly do it, y'all know, all bets are off. Story's over.
Well, if you want to try them, according to the Indianapolis Star, there are recipes online that you can check out for recommendations on how to prepare them. They also say it's recommended to try the grab the cicada as soon as they emerge and before they molt and have that scary looking shell, or harden or grow their wings. That's when they're easiest to snatch and the tastiest to eat.
Oh, goody.
And again, please avoid them if you're allergic in any way to shrimp or shellfish.
Okay.
So now that we've horrified you with that story, let's move into a totally different direction for our second story. And this is something that was brought to my attention by a friend online. And it's regarding the question of who actually has the ownership of the invention of Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Flaming Hot Cheetos.
So, first of all, if you're not familiar, and okay, since we're being transparent, before this podcast, I confess, I have never eaten anything flaming hot. It's not that I don't like flaming hot stuff. Big Daddy knows I put sriracha on my sriracha.
I literally, in my hand, I am holding a bottle of Red Hot, which is good for like, if you are in a house, that should be a good indicator as you go into anyone's house. If they do not have a bottle of Red Hot or Flaming Hot or hot sauce or sriracha, you need to check them.
And that's not even the only hot sauce I have. So
no, it is not.
There's Tapatio around here somewhere. I think there's the Melinda's extra hot somewhere. I'm a connoisseur of hot things. That said, I don't know why I never tried it until today. I think part of it is I don't like Cheetos. Although I just recently discovered I do like the Cheetos Puffs. So
you just found that out literally an hour ago.
Literally right before hitting that mic, I found that out. Combining that with the Flaming Hot Nachos. So yeah, pretty good. So it's obviously a very popular brand. You see it everywhere, from videos to viral cooking segment. There's even a restaurant now that's offered by Applebee's. It's called Cosmic Wings. It's one of their virtual restaurants. And the only thing they serve up are wings that is either coated in Flaming Hot's powder or Cheetos powder. Yes. So, for the past decade, there's someone by the name of Richard Montanez who has been telling people that he, in fact, was the originator of the Flaming Hot Cheeto.
He's the originator, the innovator.
So the story that he's been telling, and now is featured in a book that he wrote, also called Flaming Hot. It goes like this: that he was working as a janitor for Frito-Lay's Rancho Cucamonga plant when he had a dream about a chili-covered Cheeto, and he was so empowered and emboldened, he actually called up the CEO of the company and pitched the idea.
Yes.
So for over a decade, he has been do speaking engagements. Like I said, he has a new book about his experiences out. He even just sold his life story of how he went from a maintenance man with Frito-Lay to an executive before he left in the marketing department. There's a new movie about his life that actually was just sanctioned and casting underway. That's going to be directed by none other than Eva Longoria of Desperate Housewives. So he's made a really lucrative second career out of telling and selling his story. And he's appeared at events at Target, Harvard, USC, and he makes anywhere between $10,000 to $50,000 for his appearance. So it sounds like an incredible rag to riches story in every way, shape, or form, right?
Right.
There's just one problem.
Okay.
According to the LA Times, and for people who worked at Frito-Lay, he, in fact, did not invent Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Uh-oh.
So there was a recent interview that went out last week where basically they spoke with more than a dozen former Frito-Lay employees. And according to them, none of our records show that Richard was involved in any capacity and the Flaming Hot test market. Frito-Lay wrote in a statement to the LA Times.
Okay.
They said, we've interviewed multiple personnel that was involved in the test market, and all of them indicated that he was not involved in any capacity. Now, this is where the story gets strange.
Okay.
They said, this doesn't mean that we don't celebrate Richard, they said. But the facts do not support the urban legend. So according to them, Flaming Hots was created by a team of hotshot snack food professionals in 1989 in the corporate offices of Frito-Lay's headquarters in Plano, Texas.
Wait a minute. They have a team of, what was it? The team of what?
According to the LA Times, they're called hotshot snack food professionals.
Hotshot snack food
Professionals. And they gave all the credit to someone by the name of Lynn Greenfield. And she came up with the Flaming Hot name and shepherded the line into existence.
Wait a minute, I gotta figure out how, do they still have this team and how can I get this job?
Now, according to them, Montanez actually did go from working as a plant worker to a director of marketing. He also pitched new product initiatives, which also changed the path of his career. But he's been taking credit for the Flaming Hot Cheetos seriously since the late 2000s.
So is he like, I don't know, is he also the mascot too?
Here's the thing. So if you knew that someone's taking credit for it and they didn't stop it, like he's getting paid on this. The claim got viral. He's got a movie about his life.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is truly something that he had no hand in, why talk about it now?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I want to know why myself. I'm like, if you ain't the man, who the man? Why are we writing? Why are we dealing with you?
Now, according to Frito-Lay, it was Greenfield who contacted Frito-Lay in 2018 after seeing that Montanez was taking credit for the Flaming Hot Cheetos, and that is what triggered a company investigation. The process unearthed calling his account into question, and they actually said, hey, the work he did was really great. He did a lot of great outreach for our Hispanic market, but, none of this money and credit should go to him. Now, they heard about this issue, the people who were making this biopic.
Okay.
They heard about it as early as 2019, but they're still going ahead with the movie. Because, in their mind, even if you take out the Flaming Hot Cheetos story, the fact that he went from basically a janitor to a highly paid director at this location is a pretty awesome story. And so they feel that they have the feel-good element, that they need for this. So they're going to move ahead. Here's what I think. Okay, first of all, the idea that this is so contested is wild to me. And I encourage you guys, if you haven't read the story in the LA Times, to please read it. It's like a roller coaster ride of them coming up with it. There's several people, and one person said that he came up with the idea. It was a salesperson. Remember, he was on the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
And he was just, at one point, he was like, I was really angry that we were losing out on the hot stuff. And I was fighting mad to try to get the hot stuff in the market. Like, really, I can't imagine him doing that. But it's a crazy story. But here's the thing. I think they were cool with him telling the story because it made them look good in the press.
Okay, I'll give that.
Until he sold the rights to his biopic.
Ah.
I think once that got involved and Hollywood got involved, they're like, wait.
It's like, hold up.
We let you tell this story as long as you can. But now we want some of that cheddar. That's really what's going on.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Because why else would you let someone openly tell that story for over a decade? Seriously, he's like the CEO of Target actually wrote the foreword of his book.
Not that hard to do.
So why would they just speak up now?
Money. I don't know. I mean, I find the whole thing kind of amusing, but at the same time, like kind of sketchy. But eventually, I mean, I guess ideas can develop. You're looking for the origin, but it's kind of like you don't know what the origin is because everybody's kind of claiming like, okay, who really came up with the concept of A, flaming hot, but B, putting them on Cheetos or some other brand, and let's say, okay, let's move forward. Now we're gonna write a book about it, or now we're gonna make a movie about it. Now I'm like, see, we need Little Richard to come in and give his opinion. God rest his soul now. But still, it's like somebody had to come up with it. It has to be an origin. As a matter of fact, I'm of the impression that who's the one that had the idea for the Nike swoosh?
Oh my gosh, that is the craziest story. It was this graphic designing student.
Yes.
And she got paid like nothing for it. Like seriously, years and years ago when I was in grad school. It's not uncommon to tell the story of the Nike swoosh. And so what happened was Phil, I forget his last name. Phil Knight, when he wanted to come up with a symbol to represent his new brand of Nike, he went to different places. the person who came up with it was like a graphic design student who was a friend of his. And she just came up with that simple idea. I think he paid her something ridiculous. Like, seriously, it was under $50.
Okay.
And then she's happily signed the right away from that. Meanwhile, years later, that shit earns like billions of dollars a year. And I'll never forget that because they told that story like the first day in class, in my graphic design class.
Mm-hmm.
And literally what came out of that was always own your shit.
Yes.
Don't sign away the rights to anything. So years later, when I had my own interns and they worked with me for like graphic design projects, I'm like, I'm giving you permission to put this in your portfolio, what you do here. Why? And I would tell that story. And their eyes were like, really? They got paid under $50? Now, let me also say, decades later, like when they made like a shitload of money off the Nike swoop, then he decided to come back. And I think he gave her some stock and some other stuff. But it's nowhere near the fact that she could have been a billionaire many times over had she not worked out a better deal for herself. But that's what I used to tell my interns. I'm like, look, if you come away with nothing else from this position, know that you need to ask upfront who you come away with. Because there's a lot of companies that all of the creative work you do, once you step away, that's ours. You have no right to put it in your portfolio. You have no right to put it in your things. That's ours. And there are several companies in to begin with that I very foolishly in the beginning was just so happy to be put on a project. I didn't think to speak to ownership. And I guess that's part of the reason why his story spoke to me.
Okay.
Because do I believe that maybe he took the credit for everything? There's some really damning evidence that the LA Times produced that said that he, in fact, maybe wasn't involved at the time he was involved. That said, we've all know how difficult it is to move up in a company, go from a position where you're basically a maintenance person up to being like this highly paid executive. So something must have happened. They didn't just come there one day and go, hey, we like the way that you sweep that. Would you like this office point? No, it doesn't work that way. True. Particularly if you're a person of color. So did he contribute some valuable things to get himself worked up? Of course. Plus, there's the issue of, for many of us, and I think this goes back to what we spoke in the other segment, about speaking up and ownership and taking the rights and really not letting someone take your shine away, for lack of a better word. Because at one point, the story says that the new employee, who is literally, I've worked for large corporations, like really big corporations before making the switch to nonprofits. And I can tell you the way that big corporations work. In this story, she talks about how this huge ass project was given to a new and freshly minted employee who just joined the company. That is not the way it usually works.
Okay.
So the fact that it fell all to this one woman who was just out of the MBA program to shepherd and fill and create this entire project on her little lonesome, I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's the way it happened either. And he actually put out something that really resonated with me as well. There's a video that he recently put out where he was defending himself against the charges in the New York Times. And this video basically says that he was really upset about how he was treating the company, and he was encouraging young people to take ownership of your story or someone else will. And again, speaking on how many times we're often encouraged to not speak up for something that you own and something that you've had a hand in creating. We've all had experiences to where someone has taken ownership of your stuff.
Yes.
And his story is inspirational, even if you take out the story of the Flaming Hot Cheetos. He comes from a Mexican-American family. His father dropped out of school in the 2nd grade. He himself dropped out of school after he claims in the 9th grade. He got a job at Frito-Lay, and he was working as a janitor, but he was then promoted to machinist operator, and then he helped to spearhead a program to reduce waste along the assembly line.
Good for him. He's the George Lopez of the group.
So he did move up in the company quite a bit, and the idea of just going through his background to where he is today, it's amazing because, again, he speaks to the story that often isn't told with many communities of color, that sometimes is left out.
Okay.
And the idea of speaking up for something that you created, because in his mind, he's like, I was just being humble. And then I was seeing all of these people taking credit for something that I know I talked to them about. And it's not uncommon. I mean, I don't know about you, again, going back to me loving sriracha on my sriracha, growing up and putting
sriracha
on my sriracha.
On your sriracha, okay.
Growing up and putting hot sauce on Doritos and everything and cheesy stuff. That idea is not new. And just taking that and just saying, hey, maybe we should put together a chip. Anybody could have come up with that. And so the idea that he was willing to speak up, I mean, what's to say he didn't give him the CEO the idea, and then the CEO years later is like, I have an idea.
Like,
as though he never heard it from Richard at all.
No.
Like, this just came to me in the dream. So both could be true. And even it's important to also say that even with this controversy, they are moving ahead with producing this movie along with Fox Searchlight Pictures. So the movie is going to be produced. In fact, they just recently cast the actors to play the lead character and his wife, and they're going to start producing it this summer in New Mexico.
Is the wife being played by Scarlett Johansson?
No, it is not.
You know she's in every other movie this summer, right?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
No, she's going to be too busy with Black Widow. But
sure.
Longoria told.
Oh, wait a minute. Is Eva Longoria going to be playing the wife?
No, Eva Longoria is going to be behind the camera. She's going to be directing.
She can do both.
And she wanted to make sure she did a good job in telling his story authentically.
Okay.
So I guess the question now is, what's the story that you're going to be told?
The story that she's going to be telling. That's the way she sees it. I just want to see Eva Longoria, on camera.
So do you think that both could be right?
Yeah. I very much think so. Even if you weren't the one who had the original idea, claim it. Just stand there, show up with the flag and say, listen, I came up with this idea. Like Little Rich is this idea. If no one else has all the receipts.
Wait. So what you're really saying is after years of watching certain cultures Columbus us.
Yes.
We're going to Columbus them.
Yes. If you can't find a definitive explanation.
Reverse Columbusy.
Just take it back. Say, listen, I don't know who said what, but guess what? I came up. I'm the originator. I'm the architect. I'm the one. It was me. You know who won the award? Me. Thank you.
In light of what happened to...
Movie. Give me my Oscar right now. Boom.
In light of what happened to that guy who got fired from CNN for just being a bigot, but also implying that there was nothing in America before the Pilgrims showed up, which, I'm sorry, I know I'm going to piss some listeners off, but dude, how do you the whole idea of Columbusing is enraging to me, because that's like showing up to your house and just putting my flag on this house, right? There's people in there. There's people who live there. And I'm like, nah, I claim this house for me.
Yeah.
No one lived there. This house built itself. And now I, JJ Outlaw, am come to claim it.
Yeah. My house. Thank you. I have a flag right on the front.
But we live here. No. You didn't exist before me, so you got to go.
Yes.
You're not important. You have to go.
You come in, like, they come in and they claim an entire, like, section of land. A park with somebody else's name on it. You just literally just, like, take a magic marker, just scratch over the name.
Just put your initials on it. My
name right here. This is T Outlaw spot.
You know what?
T Outlaw Park. Damn it.
I'm not exactly mad at your theory now. I kind of love it. Okay. So I encourage you guys to read the story. It's a crazy read. Make your own decision. And if you're interested, his new book called Flaming Hot will be coming out in June. So you can read his memoir as well. So the last story that we're covering,
that could be covered by Ava Longoria,
is more or less a warning.
Okay.
One that has been given to you many, many times in 2019, in 2017, and it's a warning from the CDC. Those of you out there who love your chickens.
You love your chickens.
And by chickens, I mean your backyard chickens, Maybe you're like Harry and Meghan and have your own like chicken coop. They're begging you, they're pleading you. You can love your chicken, but just don't love your chicken, if you know what I mean. Stop showing your affection. Stop snuggling and kissing your backyard chickens. Because by doing this, you are spreading salmonella germs to your mouth and making yourself sick.
I'm always amused that we have to have this explanation.
Not only that we have to have this explanation, but they've done it multiple times now. This is not the first warning. In fact, I think this was in we've been podcasting, we're going on, this is our third year. I honestly think in our first year of doing the podcast, we've done something on the story.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So is that an issue? According to the CDC, backyard outbreaks of salmonella poultry was investigated in all 50 states, and it resulted in 1,722 documented illnesses, 33 hospitalizations, and 1 death. And that's in just 1 year alone. It is the highest number of illnesses ever reported to backyard flocks.
Why?
Well, apparently there are some people out there who think that the yard birds are just so adorable that they just have to give them a snuggle or a kissy face. And I'm just like, look, I love me some chicken. Well, okay. The finished.
So you and
chicken.
Popeyes.
Yes.
And
okay.
KFC.
Yes.
And Boston Market.
No.
Okay.
And we're on to you, Boston Market. We know that rotisserie brand is really you. Okay? You're not fooling anyone renaming it. It's still your bland ass chicken. Okay. Anyway.
There goes that Boston Market sponsorship.
Yes, we're not going to get that.
Okay.
So anyway, I don't really get the whole idea of snuggling and cuddling a chicken, because as one who lived on a farm for a semester going through grad school and finishing my internship, I can tell you chickens are not cuddly.
No, they're not.
They're not the snuggling kind. Okay? I would not invite a chicken to our nightly snuggle party that I have with the dog watching the news, where I jump on the couch and he jumps on next to me and we do our cuddling thing. The chicken wouldn't have nothing to do with that. And you know why? Because my dog does not give me salmonella when I give him the snuggles.
That you know of.
We're going to move on from that.
Okay.
But the point I'm trying to make is, it is insane that they have to keep saying this, especially in the middle of a pandemic, because, it's not like the CDC is not occupied with other things that can kill you.
Right.
So they're just really asking you to kind of let them do their chicken thing Don't kiss or snuggle backyard poultry. Oh, goodness. Don't
Bless
even
you.
eat or drink around them.
I guess my thing is, okay, I know that, there are people who have farms, there are people who have coops, and all we ask is that you treat them as they are. They're just yard birds. If you want to watch them from afar, if you want to harvest eggs, if you want to treat them as such, like as barnyard animals, I understand that. I just don't get the concept of I want to I want to love them, I want to hug them, I want to cuddle them. As a person who has once again had to end the life of a chicken for food, I I'm sorry. All I see, like when I see a chicken, all I see is a 3-piece. I'm sorry, or a whole fryer. But I just don't have that kind of relationship with Yardbird. But I mean, I understand you want to be closer. It's just like looking at cows and pigs. But salmonella, I mean, I guess glove up. Give your glove love. Stay. Be careful when you're dealing with the chicken. The chicken is just it's an outside bird. I don't get it, but okay.
Look, just stop macking on your chicken, okay? That's what we're doing. This is a public service announcement from the Goop to you.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't give a cluck. I made that up all by myself.
Okay. So we're gonna take a break. Mainly because I have the giggles now and I know I won't be able to stop. So when we come back, we will finish the show like we normally do with the best thing we ate this week.
Okay, come on, dog producer, save me.
Crying. You're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We will be right back. This episode of the Gourmet Cooper podcast is brought to you by Brush. Brush is an electric toothbrush that will change the way you think about brushing your teeth. With powerful sonic technology and an ultra gentle bristles, the Brush redefines what it means to have super clean teeth. It's kind of like that feeling you get when you just leave the dentist, that fresh whole mouth clean. And you get to do that every single day. And that's why the Gourmet Goober podcast is partnering with Brush, so that our listeners get 15% off their total purchase with the code POD15. Just follow the link in the show notes and enter the code POD15 to get your exclusive discount and upgrade your oral care. Thanks for listening. Now back to the show. Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
Anti Outlaw.
And we are back with the last section of today's show where we share the best thing we ate this week. As a reminder, we want to hear what you think is the best thing you ate this week. So if there's a restaurant, a recipe you're really passionate about, something that you think that's just really important for our listeners to know about, drop us a line at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com and we may read your letter on the show. Let's all work together and highlight these restaurants, especially as people are getting vaccinated and restaurants are opening again. We want to make sure that we save this industry, and the best way to do it is to share some of the good grub that you get at the restaurant that you love. So this week, Big Daddy, I'm going to let you go. What is the best thing you had since the last podcast? Not that I didn't know the answer, which is why I'm laughing.
Yes. So early in the program, we had a conversation about my week, which was highlighted by my anniversary gift from the Gourmet Goober, which included wings from a certain club.
Yes.
So here's the thing. In a previous episode, like about a year ago, almost a year ago, we had set of wings, chicken wings as you will, from a place called Magic City, from the Magic City Kitchen.
And Magic City is?
It's a gentleman's club in Atlanta, Georgia.
Exactly.
Atlanta, Georgia. What can we do for you?
It is a very famous strip club.
Yeah.
Sorry, gentleman's club.
It's a gentleman's club. Let's just call it. It was a stripper house.
Exactly.
So, how do we come by this? Here's the quick recap of the story via our man Lou Williams.
Yes.
Okay, so give or take a little bit under a year ago, the NBA went into, well, they had to shut down because of the pandemic. They had to do they had to delay their season. So, when the season kind of resumed, they went into a bubble. And basically, which was they stuffed all their players into the Walt Disney World resort in Florida near Orlando. And they say, okay, nobody can leave this area. We literally are going to play the resumption of the season and then the postseason in one location. Multiple, games, but we're all going to do this in one place. Exactly. Nobody can. What's that?
I was saying exactly. In fact, they didn't allow family to come in.
No.
They basically slept, lived, ate, eat, practiced in one space. They had this technology that basically no one got in or out unless they got tested, and they got tested every day.
Yeah.
To make sure that they weren't passing the Rona to each other.
Correct. And so, to speed this up, one of the things they also couldn't do was leave the place, but also they had to have their they could only eat basically what was brought in for them. They couldn't have delivery people at first bring in food to them or have your DoorDash hook up on the front. But what started to happen was, well, there were a couple players that kind of defected. Kind of they took a little break, let's just say. One of those players was a basketball player, and at this point, this was an LA Clipper guard, their famous sixth man named Lou Williams. Lou took a little break. He said he had some things he had to take care of. So on one weekend, he stepped out for a little bit, and when they found him, he said, well, I had to go to Atlanta. Where'd you go in Atlanta? I went to a club. You went to a club, what, to dance, hang out, whatever? I might have done a little dancing. Magic City. Isn't that a stripper club? Yeah. You went to a strip club. You broke quarantine.
In the middle of a pandemic.
As part of the NBA bubble, risking your NBA salary.
And your life.
Okay. Why? I went there for the wings. You went there for wings. Yeah. Okay, so what? They were damn good wings. Okay. So as part, he was still able to resume. He had to spend a couple weeks
in quarantine.
Could not play basketball with his team. But yeah, somehow he was able to come back. But so the Clippers went through the rest of their bubble. Didn't win the championship or anything, but anyway.
When the media found out about it, they dragged him.
Exactly.
And do you remember who came up with the idea of Lemon Pepper Lou? Was it ESPN or was it Charles Barkley and the team at Inside the NBA?
I think, yeah, they kind of referenced it. But I'm not, somehow that became a thing for Lou to run with.
Maybe it was Stephen A. Smith. Someone in the media decided to drag Lou because literally, think about it. You're a multi-million-dollar athlete. All the sports is shut down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the NBA came up with this ingenious way. Look, we can pay out your salaries. We can honor your contract. We can finish the season and give everyone what they want. Your ass needs to stay in this place, though. You cannot leave for whatever reason. Lou comes up with this family emergency. And then on the way back, instead of just going back, nah, he goes to strip. He risked the Rona. He risked the contract. If he got sick, and think about it, and brought that in to like the bubble, all these people like holding up together, he could have gotten all of his teammates sick. He could have gotten all the NBA sick. Dude, what was worth risking all of that for?
The wings.
And so someone was like, dude, really? And then he became known as Lemon Pepper Lou.
That's right.
But Lou, I have to say, let me just give it up to Lou. Lou leaned into that.
He doubled down.
And we talked about it on the show, how not only the absurdity of Lou risking it all in the Rona for some wings, but he actually went the extra mile. And didn't he like trademark Lemon Pepper Lou?
Yes.
So now he can make money off of it. So then all the interest became like, okay, Magic City, what the hell? This guy is literally risking the lifeline of all these players in the NBA for your wings. Well, come to find out.
Well, not only did he trademark it, but he leaned into it in the Magic City, basically put their name on their wings, and they called them Lou Will. The Lou Will
Lemon Pepper.
That's right.
So we have told the story, and it's become a source of much amusement here at the Casa de Goober.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the story earlier, when your original anniversary gift of the watch fell through, right?
Correct.
I was like, dude, I need to come up with something for his anniversary present. And then here comes Goldbelly.
Goldbelly leaned in themselves.
Goldbelly sending me yet another enticing email of, you know you want this babka, right?
Oh, I forgot about the babka. Babka is very good.
Yes, you know you want this chocolate babka, right? You can't go to New York, girl. You're not leaving Chicagoland. Order the babka. Use this discount that you can't use it on the babka. So I was like, I'm on Goldbelly, and lo and behold, Magic City delivers from Goldbelly.
That's right.
So you two, apparently, since they opened in 1985, along with, well, what you'd find in Magic City, lots of booties, they are known for their wings. And apparently, GQ actually at one point named them not only America's most important club, but they held their wings as being one of the best reasons to go.
Damn right.
So if you go to Goldbelly right now, you can actually get a list of all their wing flavors, ranging from lemon pepper wet, which is fabulous, through their Justice Magic, which is their regular wing sauce. So I thought, what the hell? Either Big Daddy will either be amused or he would kind of question our life choices and his wife choices in a wife. And I ordered, they have a set of 50 lemon pepper wings that you can get. So it's choose your own 50. You get 25 of each. So I got 25 of the lemon pepper. And then I also got 25 of the Lou Will lemon pepper. And in case you're wondering, there is a difference. So the lemon pepper is just standard lemon pepper seasoning, which I also have to say is kind of unique because they add just a hint of celery salt to it. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But the Lou Williams version, which is the best thing we ate this week, and I say we because we're in agreement this week.
Damn Skippy.
The notorious Lou Will wings are wings that are tossed in a kind of honey barbecue sauce. And then you sprinkle, they even give you extra lemon pepper seasoning. So the lemon pepper seasoning is sprinkled on top. Now, you would not think that a honey barbecue and lemon pepper would go together. You would think that that would be kind of like fighting each other.
Yeah, they would cancel each other out or overkill.
No. These wings were next level freaking good.
They were. I was actually pleasantly surprised, especially since they were shipped semi-frozen.
Yeah, they were supposed to be frozen, but by the time they got to us, they were fully thawed. So I'm like, oh, I guess we're having them tonight then.
Yeah.
Surprise!
And for 2 straight days, we dined.
2 straight days, we dined on, I have to say, some of the best wings I have ever had, ever. Oh my gosh.
In terms of barbecue wings, best I've ever had. In terms of lemon pepper, I mean, I have had a lot of different, wings, as you would say, like your typical chicken wings that were fried from a place. And I've had a lot of, different selections. I'm willing to say, like, especially ones in all barbecue, probably the best I've had in a long, long time. And I think, like, as the Goober was explaining, like, with the mix of lemon pepper and the honey barbecue, they had just the right amount of note, each. They didn't, overpower.
Right. It wasn't too sweet. It wasn't too salty, which is amazing because a lot of lemon pepper seasoning out there is, like, heavily on the salt, and it wasn't that at all. In fact, it had it wasn't like a regular salt, right? Like, we were sitting, like, eating lots and lots of wings. We were talking, like, what is that hint? That flavor that it's, like, right there on the tip of your tongue and we couldn't identify?
Yeah, it was like an extra ingredient we just could not catch.
And then finally it occurred to me, being in Chicagoland, it was celery salt. It wasn't just regular salt.
Right.
And celery salt, if you've ever had a Chicago dog, is kind of like the chef's kiss that sets off all the flavors together in a Chicago dog. It's kind of like that unexpected additive that you would never think to add to something that already has, like, mustard and a pickle and relish. But it needs all of that to make it work.
Right.
And that's what it was like with the lemon pepper, the Lou Will lemon pepper wings. So incredibly good. And just as a side note, we have a little bit of that seasoning left.
Really?
Yes, it's in the kitchen.
So
I was kind of stingy with it because I wanted to use another stuff. And it was still that good.
How about that? Guess I'm going to be, okay, I guess it will be used for something else. We will be having some more wings. We will be in the kitchen experimenting.
Yes. But if you have a chance, and I'm excited this week because the stuff we recommend, sometimes it's regional because, unfortunately, with the pandemic, unlike before, we can't always just leave where we are. But this is a recommendation I'm really happy to make because, one, they are hella good. So if you like wings, I recommend trying these incredible wings from, you can get them on Goldbelly. But the other thing is, the great thing about Goldbelly that I really love, and I've really fallen in love with it, and I've recommended to other people, is, again, a lot of these restaurants from across the country, they have come out with some really unique eats that you can get delivered directly to your door. And so it doesn't matter where you are in the United States, you can actually try some of these wings. So you can go online. They have different amounts. The ones that we got was to choose your own 50 wing pack. It's $109 roughly in free shipping. However, if you're already a Goldbelly member, you know that there are some reward points that you earn every time that you order from Goldbelly. And like I said, Goldbelly knows that they got me. So I had some reward points to add. So I didn't pay that much. But still, it is worth it just to have like a once-in-a-lifetime treat that it is really, really worth it. And I have to say, seeing the look on your face, plus the additive of, Big Daddy was bragging like, yeah, my wife got me wings from a strip club.
That's right.
And one of his former co-workers responded back, #golds. So I'm glad you like that.
I did.
Also, even though that's the best thing I had this week as well, and even now I'm kind of thinking of ways we can use some leftover lemon pepper sauce, I also want to give a shout out to Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins?
Yes. So this weekend, I had an opportunity to try from Baskin Robbins a drink that is actually a very common drink in a Mexican communities. It's called, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, a mango nada. And so, what a mango nada is, it's a frozen beverage that combines mango. Usually, it has something called chamoy mixed in. And then, in this case, in Baskin Robbins, they also add Cajun seasoning to. And if you've seen Cajun seasoning before, it usually comes like in a little bottle. It's kind of like a seasoning that you can add to fruit. I usually add it to like when I make guacamole. It actually tastes really good on mangoes and things like that. It kind of adds like a savory, spicy, citrusy tinge to whatever you add it to, flavor to it rather. And I tried a mango natto this weekend, and it was heavenly. It was really, really good. So it's a limited time drink that you can get. Apparently, it's one that they've been developing for a very long time. You can get it at any regular Baskin Robbins, or in my case, I got it at a Baskin Robbins that is at a Dunkin', Baskin Robbins Dunkin' combination. But if you wanted to try this drink, which is kind of a sweet and savory, it has a tart and kind of like a spicy note to it. So it really has all the hints of umami right there. It's so good. But you better hurry because I guess they're only offering it towards the end of May. So you can kind of check it out at your local Baskin Robbins. My understanding is from talking to them, it's now nationwide. So although the wings are the best thing I ate this week, I have to say that's the best thing I had to drink this week. And I do recommend it.
Also make sure, when you go to Baskin Robbins and you ask for it, make sure they shake it well.
Yes. I do recommend that. So, Big Daddy, where can people find you if they wanted to talk more about the Lou Will lemon pepper wings?
Well, you can go to Magic City Kitchen. You can talk to Lou Will, even though he, right now, weirdly enough, is playing for the Atlanta Hawks.
So he can be closer to the wings he loves.
That's right. So he can get that marketing down and visit Magic City, check on his product. Well, you can find me, T Outlaw, at T Outlaw on Twitter and on Instagram at T Outlaw Josie Wells.
You can always find me, JJ Outlaw, on Twitter as JJ Outlaw. You can also check me out on Instagram at Gourmet Goober. Again, please drop us a line at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. And we also have our Facebook page. You can go to thegourmetgoober.com, or on Facebook, you can check it out at the Gourmet Goober blog, because that's how we started out. So for Big Daddy and I, we want to thank you for hanging out with us once again while we talked about the funny, the absurd, and everything in between with food and pop culture. You've listened to the Gourmet Goober podcast, a production of Plum Good Media. And until next time, happy eating.
Happy eating.